we don't produce much value because we're getting our architecture down, we're doing hello world stories. Once we've got the architecture, then we start doing features. And we reach a point where we're reaching a point of diminishing returns, where the additional features don't have that much additional value to the customer. And this is the point where we can start talking about making a release to the users because all of the musts are present. And once we've got that, then we go on to the shoulds. If you deliver a project, you can have all the shoulds and all the coulds and all the nice to haves in the world, but if you don't have the must, you're going to have an unhappy customer. So, rule of thumb, no more than 70% of your effort should be in must. Okay, so if you're saying I've estimated this project is going to be 100, then the features that consume 70% of that may be must, and everything else should be possible but not contractually obligated. Because what you're saying is our quality is fixed. Okay, we don't compromise on quality because quality produces higher costs later. Now the last thing which I'd like to point out to you is the advantage of user stories as a way to specify the project. Basically, for each user story, you define acceptance tests. Get the customer to sign off on the acceptance tests. When those acceptance tests are green, then that story is finished. And so a user story is negotiable. How the story will be implemented is negotiable, but whether the story has been implemented can be defined quite clearly. Yeah, we hear the tests, they've all passed, it's all green. And so this makes it possible to come to something like a definition of done for the entire project. So what I'd like to do now is just summarize the suggestions that I've made. The first thing is the team is delivering the code, work with an experienced team. Make sure the customer shares your goal. If the customer doesn't share your goal, it's going to be very difficult to achieve it because he makes decisions which influence your success. Look for ways to give yourself wiggle room. Things that will let you make mistakes, let you have problems and recover from them without having to jeopardize the total overall success of the project. Okay? A first phase, a pre-project, can be very, very helpful to lower the risk to increase your understanding of the project. It can be very difficult if the customer doesn't want to do Agile or doesn't understand Agile. You might actually need to do a lot of marketing long beforehand to get the customer to think Agile, to get him ready to buy one. I don't have any short-term solutions to how to get him to buy Agile when he doesn't want to. Go through your normal, everything else is pretty much your normal Agile software development process according to Mike Cohn and Ken Schraber or Kent Beck, depending on who you're following. Focus on quality, focus on business value. Keep these things at the top of your priority list and you'll be fine. Transparency builds trust. Okay, both about the cost and about the project. If your customer is wanting a fixed price because he doesn't trust you, well, then delivering to a fixed price every month and delivering what you commit to is going to help that trust a lot and make your life easier. So, raise issues, speak truth to power, and work closely with the customer kind of rounds it out. Some of this sounds kind of like mother milk, things that you just do, but it's amazing when people don't do that, or how often they don't do that, and how that can lead to a very negative climate. I've done this on a number of occasions. I recently had a project where the customer came to me, said, I want you to redesign a web platform for me. We wanted to do a real estate platform. He gave us a list of, he actually asked us to say, what should a new real estate platform do? And we came up with a list of user stories for him, and we estimated those user stories. We put a price on it. Let's just call it 100. 100 for the minimum version, 130 for the top, world-class version. Customer took it, went back to his customer, came back to us about 2 months later and says, well, I've got 80, can you do something? And we kind of, yeah, okay. We said, we'll do something for 80. We did that because we knew the customer would work for us, would work with us. We knew that the customer was just as interested in hitting this goal of 80 as we were, and so we had very high confidence that the project would work well. And so we were able to focus on his wishes, focus on producing business value, and We did in fact deliver to the day that we had promised. When the smoke cleared, the price was actually a little bit closer to 90 than it was to 80 because he'd asked for some additional things along the way. But it was okay. He was totally happy. And I had the occasion of meeting with his customer, that is my customer's customer, at a networking event about 6 months later. And she was a director of IT for a Swiss newspaper. And she said, wow, the music has changed completely since you guys started doing Agile. The platform that we did with you guys 2 years ago, that was one disaster after another, and it was an ongoing fight. And this one, you were the only supplier in this whole project. We were only part of the redesign of the web platform doing this search portal. And we were the only people who delivered on time, and we delivered exactly what they asked for, and it was perfect, and it was wonderful. So yes, it can be done, and Agile is the way to do it. Do we have time for questions, or have I totally blown away my time box?
Just a little thanks.
In that case, I've been informed we have coffee, and it was my job to keep you awake until coffee time. I hope I hear enough noise in the room that I think I've been successful. I will head down to the open space section after the coffee break, and if you would like to ask questions. I've also left some business cards and some course notes. There's nowhere near enough for everybody, but if you want one, feel free to take one. And thank you very much.